Would you like to find out what the interior design principles are? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hi everyone, it's Carol from Discover Interior Design, and I'm so glad you're here. In this video, I'm going to provide an overview of the interior design principles. So what are the interior design principles? Well, I always think of them as a guide, a list of principles to remind us of how to make a great design, what to think of and what to incorporate into our design so that it looks and feels great. And I have a list of 6 interior design principles that I think are essential to help you make your home look and feel great. So let's take a look at those. So the first interior design principle is balance. And balance is a way to almost give structure to a room, almost organizing different elements together and organizing everything, the entire room together so that it looks and feels balanced and structured, and that there is a feeling of, equal visual weight so that, the room doesn't look lopsided. And there are different types of balance that we can use to make that happen. And we can use symmetrical balance, which is, say, we could draw an imaginary line down the center of a room, and there would be, a mirror image on either side. Or we could use asymmetrical balance. This is where we could have an imaginary line down the center, but we're not using the same elements on either side. But we're creating the equal amount of visual weight so that there's still a balanced look. And we can also use radial balance, which is, more of a circular type of balance. But the same thing can happen where we're just organizing and grouping elements together so that there's some sort of structure to that grouping. And lots of times in a room, we're probably using a variety of different types of balance. And so there's always this variety, there's a mix of balance in a room, because then that'll help make that room look and feel more interesting. And then the other interior design principle we can talk about is rhythm. So rhythm is about movement, and that is created through repetition. So, having our eye, jump from one area to the other, or, more subtly, just kind of moving from one area to the other. So, using repetition as, a subtle type of element in the room, or as a more prominent element in the room, but it's a way to move around the space and to create a connectedness with everything. And then the other interior design principle that we can think about is emphasis. And our rooms, we're always going to have a variety of things happening in the room, but thinking about it in making sure that there's a hierarchy of different areas of visual weight or different areas of focus. So, having certain areas have more emphasis, bringing more attention to them, whereas other areas maybe are more in the background. And that's going to happen throughout the room, depending on where we're looking and how we arrange everything. We'll have different areas of emphasis, but also different areas that contrast with that to kind of help, make that stand out even more. And then another interior design principle to think about is scale and proportion. So scale and proportion have to do with sizes of things, but how they relate to one another. It's about relationships. So having a side table in scale with the sofa makes more sense than one that doesn't. And then having a grouping of furniture that's all in scale together, that makes sense together, and making sure that grouping is in proportion to the scale of the room, then that whole entire room will make more sense together. It's one of those things that if something is out of scale, it just means something is too large or too small compared to something else. And then the other interior design principle we can think about is contrast. And like other interior design principles, there's always this overlap of all these different interior design principles, that they're not in isolation. They're always, working with each other, and we're always using all of them together. And contrast is one of those that I think about, variety. Contrast just means differences in different things. And it could be differences in different materials or differences in how light or dark something is. And it's an important principle to think about because we want to make sure our room has variety to it. And so contrast is a way to do that. Whether it's very subtle or a little bit more prominent, it's an important way to make sure that our room is interesting. And then the last interior design principle that we can think about is harmony. And harmony has to do with the balance between unity and variety. So, making sure that everything is unified in the room, whether that's through style or color or scale and size, all of these different principles and design elements, but that there is variety, that everything isn't just all the same, because otherwise that would be very dull. So harmony is just this nice balance, this nice feeling of calmness. Whether the room is energetic or peaceful, there's this feeling of calmness that, everything looks and feels good, that it makes sense together. And so, that there's a feeling of harmony in that room. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions on what else we can think about when we're talking about the interior design principles. So leave your design ideas and suggestions in the comments. And I want to thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe, and I hope you're doing well and look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.